How's it going, guys? Just got back to my house after a very long day. I just got back. It's about 10 p.m. I think. Yeah, it's 10:30 p.m. And I just wanted to sit down and explain what happened with the drone a little bit more in detail. Also, kind of get my thoughts on what's going on. I'm sure you guys are wondering, like, are you upset? Are you angry? Are you disappointed? Are you heartbroken? Like, kind of like, what are my emotions? You got a little bit of an explanation as to what happened in the moment, but I figured I'd go a little bit more in depth, kind of explaining what really went down. So basically, we drove over this small bridge which had a creek running beneath it when we were off just driving on some back roads trying to look for some really cool places to get footage. And we found that one open field, as you saw a lot of the footage was in. It was an amazing place. The view was incredible. We just rolled up on it. It was insane. It was an incredible find. Made the day absolutely worth it. But we saw this bridge and we wanted to get a shot of the car driving over the bridge, kind of like a bridge between a bridge, kind of to bridge a piece of the story together, showing today in the video. So we had our hearts set on that, but then Tyler was over there getting the shot, and he also looked and he's like, you could fly the drone under here. And if you're anybody who likes doing filmmaking or something like that, you kind of understand that when you see something in your head like that and you realize it's possible, you're gonna stop at nothing to try to get it to work. So we got out, we parked, and we were trying to work on trying to get the shot working. Whipped out the drone. I was kind of in a rush. I was trying to do it quickly. Whipped out the drone, took it off, started flying, and when I first took off, everything was fine. Nothing was wrong with the drone. But then I realized what happened was it had no GPS. This was an error in the GPS. Now, I briefly mentioned this earlier when I was talking about it, but let me explain what that really means. Basically, the drone communicates through a GPS with your remote, the thing that controls the drone, and what that does is basically when I'm not touching the remote, if this knows where the remote is, it will completely hover in place. It will completely stop moving. If the wind blows, it will fight against the wind to stay exactly where it is. So I could set the remote down and it wouldn't move. So that's the way you want it to be. That's where you're always supposed to fly it. You can fly it the other way, but what happens is if you don't touch it, it'll kind of move if the wind carries it. If you were moving it off to the right and you stopped touching the remote, it would continue to move to the right. So you have to like fight it. It's a lot more manual. It's kind of harder to control. And I've flown it like this a few times just because sometimes the GPS has a little bit of an error and you're supposed to land it and get it to work. I should have landed it immediately, but especially because I was flying it under a bridge, but I was like, I think I can handle it. I have it. And I was taking it slow, so I was to make sure I had it under control. And everything was fine. I got the bridge shot. The complicated part, the dangerous part, or like the dangerous is like I might mess up my drone. That part went smooth, like no problems. As you can see right here in this shot, you can see it flying over the water, flies right under the bridge, no big deal. That was the hard part. After I got through that, like literally that shot right there, I got it out from under the bridge. I was bringing it up to land it back down on the bridge. That was the plan. When I brought it up, the wind kind of carried it and it went into these tall weeds, or they were kind of just some sort of vegetation. I'm not really sure what they were. They were kind of thin though. The propellers I thought were just gonna burn right through them, but they ended up getting caught, entangled, and it kind of flipped over and landed on the ground. And that was the first time I crashed my drone, and I was a little bit, I was like, I really wasn't scared because it wasn't a hard crash. It probably fell about 8 feet. Meanwhile, like while the propellers were going, so like what happened was it was flying and it kind of turned over, and so it kind of like slowly just kind of like came down to the ground like this, like it swung in, kind of like an airplane landing. So I knew it wasn't too hard of a like impact on the drone, and so I walked over and it was still upside down. It was resting upside down on the ground, and I was walking over to grab it, and what I didn't realize what happened was that 2 of the propellers had broken on impact. 2 of the propellers broke, and if you know anything about helicopters and how they work, you need all the propellers, or all the, if it's just a regular helicopter with 4 of these, coming out each way, they all need to be the exact same, or else you're gonna have a problem, and it's not gonna fly very well. You won't be able to control it very easily. So what happened was, and I didn't realize this, 2 of them had broken about the exact same spot, and they're supposed to look like this, and they broke like this. Also, I didn't stop or try to turn it off whenever it first crashed, just because I was like, kind of like, oh shit, I crashed my drone, let me go grab it real fast. And when I grabbed it, I picked it up like this, and when I picked it up, the propeller started to clear what had been tangled, and they started spinning again. I kind of was like a little bit freaked out, not like freaked out like I was panicking, but I was also like, oh shit, I don't know what to do now because these are all spinning, and all of them started spinning together, and I was like, okay, I'll throw it up and away, and it will start flying, because I didn't want to just let go or set it down, because like I said, with no GPS, it could go anywhere, and I didn't want it to come back at me. These spin very fast. These are hard plastic. This would definitely hurt me if they hit me, so I threw it up, and as I threw it up, it immediately started going way up and really fast and out of control towards the creek, right above the creek, and it hit some trees and fell into the creek. And it fell into a part of the creek that was about 3 feet deep because I was waist deep trying to get it out. So that was really unfortunate. Sucks. It was submerged for a good probably 3 minutes. As you saw, I got it to turn on. I just tried it a minute ago. I got it to turn on again. It communicated this time with the device. My phone, I don't think the camera's gonna be any good. So the drone's kind of gone. How do I feel about this? It sucks. I went in to get it out of the water. I walked in immediately. I immediately just kicked off my shoes, started going down there, and I stepped in. I ended up cutting part of my foot on a rock. That hurt. It wasn't a serious thing. It sucked. I cut my foot on a rock pretty bad. And, well, not pretty bad. I just cut it, and then I ended up recovering, and I was like waist deep in the water when I grabbed it. I'm like 6 feet tall, so it was pretty deep water. There were parts of the water that were just like an inch or two deep, but this part in particular, it was like 3 feet deep. It really sucked. I got it out. It was cold water, so I was like, kind of like, I don't know, it's like breathing heavy. Got it. I was walking up. As I was talking to Dallas, coming back out of the water, looking at the drone, kind of assessing the damage. I'm barefoot now, like I said, kicked off my shoes, stepped onto a hornet. I was walking up saying like, why is my left foot hurting so bad? This is the same foot that I just cut. And I looked at the bottom of my foot and there was a hornet with its stinger stuck into my foot. I immediately brushed it away. The stinger snapped off. Then I had to pull that out. And that was immediately. So like I got my drone, immediately stepped on a hornet. Now I have like 2 big things on my foot. My foot has since swelled up pretty bad. It hurts pretty bad. It was, but I'm in good spirits. This is the thing that kind of is like, why are you like not crazy upset? You kind of had a shitty day, right? This kind of thing has happened to me before, actually with this camera here. This camera looks pretty much identical to the camera I'm currently using. It's actually one model behind. The camera I'm currently using is one model newer than this one. Similar thing happened in 2014. I went to the mountains in Gatlinburg, Tennessee with my family. And I was up at this little waterfall. It's a smaller waterfall, kind of in the same, like in a creek the same size, a little bit bigger than the one that you saw in the video from today. And I was up on this waterfall trying to get this shot. I've been really into filmmaking for a very long time, so I was up and I climbed a bunch of rocks that I shouldn't have that were slick, and I was trying to get this shot. I had a strap on this camera, but just the way I grabbed it when I was turning to get the shot, I got the shot. I was going back down. I just didn't have the strap around my hand properly. I slipped. I busted my ass. I cut up my back really bad, and as I fell, the camera left my hand and kind of flew up in the air. And I remember like being in slow motion, trying to reach out and grab it, but I couldn't quite reach it. And it ended up hitting the rocks pretty hard, tumbled down a few rocks, and then went into the waterfall, and then went to the bottom of the waterfall where it sat for probably a good 10 minutes as we tried to recover it. This camera does not work. No way. It was underwater for way too long. But I've been in this pretty much exact situation before, and I know that, it worked out. I was disappointed when it happened with this one, but bottom line, it kind of is what it is. You really can't do anything about it. These things happen. If you have expensive equipment, you have to be accepting or open to the possibility that that expensive equipment is going to get damaged and or broken just completely beyond repair. So that's part of the risk of paying a lot of money for something that you want, expensive equipment in general. That's just the way it is. This is the way it is. It happened. I really wasn't upset when it happened. I was kind of like, damn, but it is what it is. We'll move forward. I'm going to see if I can fix my drone. If I can't, I'll get a new one. I want my drone, so I'll get a new one. But thank you guys for listening to this full explanation. If you stayed this long in the video and enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. Also, get better soon, Cole, talking about my left foot, which might have to get amputated because of all the bad things that happened to it. Just if you made it this far in the video, say get better soon, Cole, or something, just because I'm curious to see how many people stay around. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoy this explanation. Good job, Cole, for completely messing up today, but I'll see you guys in the next one.